For this exercise, I'm using a flat pick and I'm using all downstrokes. If you can do it with a thumb pick, you can do it with the flesh of your thumb, you can do it with your fingers. All I say is pick something and stick to it for a while. Don't do it one way for one scale and then one way for another scale, because you'll never develop anything. Just whatever you want to develop. I practice all different ways of doing it. Okay? But usually I warm up with a flat pick. And now the groove that I like to practice this with, and there's many ways you could do it, I do it as though it were a walking bass line. And so I will count the rhythm in, and I'm going to do this scale going up and then the exact same thing coming down, and I'll show you what it sounds like. Okay? One. And the tabs are going to be available somewhere. Just look either here on the screen or in the text box. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Now, I know I'm not the only guy in the world who's showing you how to play a scale, but the importance of warming up and the importance of putting this groove on it, I can't stress that enough. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do 12 scales, and it's going to be that moved around to 12 different locations, but we're going to skip around rather than going one fret at a time. We're going to use the idea of the circle of fifths, only we're going to go backwards. So we're going up a fourth each time. Now, if you don't know what that means, don't worry. Let's say we're playing the G scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the fourth note of that is C. So the next scale we're going to play is going to be a C scale. So we do the G scale, go to the C scale, and now watch. The fourth note is going to be C, D, E, F. Now, if you don't know the notes, that's okay. Go ba, 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 and then sing it ba, but we're always going to start on the low E string. So ba, 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 ba. And then the next scale will be an F scale. So we're the sort of guitar shorthand way of explaining this is play a scale, and the next one can be either 5 frets up or 7 frets down, whatever's comfortable. So in this case, we would do G scale, then start the next one 5 frets up at the 8th fret, then start the next one 7 frets down. So it's either 5 up or 7 down, whatever's comfortable. Allow me to play 3 of these scales so you get the idea of the flow of what this exercise will sound like. Okay, here we go. This is what it sounds like when I do it. 1, 2, ready, and. C scale, 8th fret. F scale. I'm getting into this rhythmic pocket just as much as I would playing a piece of music. Now, before I end the lesson, like I said, this idea of don't try to be perfect technically. Try to be groovy. Try to make music. Try to squeeze some groove out of this. When you fall into the place of grooving rather than counting, you start accessing the right hemisphere of your brain, which is the more creative aspect. And when you play music, lots of parts of your brain light up, and you achieve, hopefully, what's called a whole brain state. And all kinds of magic and inspiration and little ideas of genius will pop out of this. But if you're trying to be perfect and you're just being analytical, you'll never even come close to knowing what that's about. So there's a kind of a wisdom that I'm trying to push you into when I say be musical with this. Don't just... No. See, I'm making music. And then you can start improvising with rhythms and blah, blah, blah. Now, there are several other scales. I will have a follow-up to this. And there's also going to be a download, as I said. Yeah, there's different scales and there's minor scales, and then there's different fingerings as well. But the important thing is starting to introduce this into your daily routine, because then after doing this for 10 or 15 minutes, you'll play music and it'll feel really good and really comfortable, and you'll be getting around the instrument nicely. One thing people always say to me is, man, your left hand, it looks so effortless. You know, your fingers are just landing perfectly. That comes from a long-term working on this. You don't work on it one day for hours and you'll hurt yourself. But do it every day, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. Do something like this long-term, and then there are these long-term benefits you get from practicing properly. Now, one other idea: practice in short 15-minute segments when you do practice. You know, maybe I'll talk more about that in a subsequent video, but don't go on for hours and hours. That's how you'll hurt yourself. So practice a little, take a break, practice a little, take a break, practice a little. Lots of breaks. It's good for you. So this is what I do when I warm up before a heavyweight practice session of all my fingerstyle arrangements. So I hope that you enjoy this. And if you've got any questions about this, just shoot me an email. Alrighty, take care.